Facebook to connect. Now here we go. Yeah. Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, good evening. Yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, I'm just going to do a short video. It's not going to be a long video, it's going to be a short one. But it's an introduction to what I'm going to be discussing on the next video. But as well, the end of the previous broadcast. So this broadcast will center it will be an introduction of what I said I was going to discuss, which is going to be partnership, not sole proprietorship, or maybe a small business being done by one individual, like a sole operational business. But this will center a little bit, that's the introductory part of partnership. So when I was discussing the business of sole operation, which means that an individual is the one doing the business himself, not business that is done by probably somebody that is an expert or someone that has done business in the past, but somebody that just want to go it alone, that doesn't want any partnership with anybody and doesn't want anybody to be involved in his or her business, but want to be the sole operation of that business, in the sense that such an individual doesn't like taking suggestions or does. So I discussed a lot of flaws and benefits, which is the pros and the cons of sole operational business. Yeah, I discussed it in multiple videos extensively, but right now what I'm trying to do is to bring an end to that broadcast, that discussion that has happened over the 2 or 3 broadcasts, but now get into what I call partnership. But the partnership that I'm going to be discussing as I wrap up the other version, the sole operational version, has to do with 2 persons' business. But in conclusion of the sole operational business, like I said previously, it has its pros and it has its cons. But everything comes down to what you as an individual wants to do. But where do you want your business to go? What is your what is your vision for that business 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 50 years from now, 100 years from now? Because businesses can outlast 1, 2, 3 generations, as long as it's managed very well. It can be a sole operational business, it can be a family business, it can be a business that is operated by a dad and a son, or maybe a dad and a wife, that's husband and wife. Those businesses can still last long as there is an understanding, a very, very good understanding that's in the family of what the vision of this business is. A case in point, there are restaurants that I've come across that are owned by a family. These restaurants have been around for 70 years, 80 years. They are able to operate because there is an understanding between the couples, or maybe between the family members that started it, and they wanted it just in the family. They don't need any sponsorship, they don't want anything, they just want to keep it local, low. That's it. So those are things that those kind of businesses can operate. Those are things that those kind of businesses will be, and those are the modus operandi of those business. And there is nothing wrong about it. There is nothing wrong about it. Everybody cuts their coat according to their sizes, So, but if you are trying to build a bigger business that will surpass one location, just like I said before, or more than 2 locations, or expand beyond a locality, Now you're talking about two persons business. Two persons business is a business that's two or more persons business are businesses that have highest successful rates. As long as there is an agreement, written agreement, sometimes agreement of the mind, but mostly it's better on written agreements. Those businesses, they stand the test of time. They tend to be a bigger business in the future. They tend to be businesses that end up staying around for many years to come. Those businesses are businesses that we know today as corporations. They are businesses that are owned by, like I said, by two or more individuals. So, but these are not businesses that are common to start. The intricacy of starting those businesses are roughing, You can't just meet a friend of yours or somebody you know and say, hey, I have a business idea, let's start it. No, it does not operate like that. These businesses, they take months, sometimes a whole year, sometimes 2 years, because you have a lot of things to iron out. You have a research to do. You have to actually streamline your ideas, because sometimes you have two people of the same field. They both have the same experience in this business. So what they do basically is that they have different ideas. So these ideas they are not easy to streamline. It takes months and probably a year, because it's not going to pass 1 year, because that means if it passes 1 year, that means that business is not meant to be. But businesses like that tend to be business whereby the first discussion that happens is, what is the goal of this business? You guys start going into agreements, into disagreements. This person will bring this idea, the other person will bring that idea, and egos pop up, But those things have to settle before a business starts. Sometimes it might be two people that have great understanding. Okay, one person has a strong idea of what is going to be done, and then the other person also have an idea, sometimes not strong idea, because of experience of what should happen. And sometimes there are trade-offs. Okay, this person will be like, okay, this is what I'm going to handle, and then the other person is going to be like, okay, this is my strength and weakness. And when you guys start bringing your strength and weakness and start ironing things out, then that business tends to move faster than anticipated, because everybody knew their weak point. And then another successful thing that happens in business like this is that when discussions take place, individuals' input are not neglected or set aside, rather discussed before set aside, and then discussed, sorted out, look at the pros and cons, and set aside but not thrown away. In the fact you do that is the reason that you want to also be able to revisit whatever idea that person brought in, so that you can then implement it, because the other idea that was accepted failed, or more slower to be implemented. But due to the lackadaisicalness of either party, or the hardship of implementing such idea, it comes down to, okay, you know what? Let's do this business. Let's use the other idea that was brought up and discuss this. So that is one thing that happens when two people or more get into business. But I'm focusing on two people business now. So, and then another thing again that goes into it is this. When those discussions happen and those ideas are sorted out, the financial aspect becomes contributional, in the sense that either party match either party in terms of financial contribution, because these parties have ideas. They know each other. They have the idea of what they want to do, and each of them are matching each other with contribution, both in operational contribution, financial contribution, logistic contribution, accessibility to both sides is just seamless. But then, like I said, I'm just going to touch basis of all this. I'm not going to discuss them tonight. I'm just going to prepare you guys for what is about to come. Because the next broadcast, I will go in depth of every single point that I'm touching tonight. So I'm just laying out the points before the discussion goes in. But one thing about this two-man business is that in the following week or two, I'm going to start bringing individuals that will join the program as we start going in depth, and people will talk about their experiences in this type of endeavor. So another one that I'm going to discuss also as the as the weeks progress is also a situation whereby one of the two individuals that are embarking on this business operation, one of them is coming with money without experience, but the other one is coming with experience but less capital. How percentage of profit are shared in this aspect. And another thing that I'm going to discuss is okay, if these individuals come with a certain amount of capital, let's say in a situation whereby both of them are coming with equal amount of capital, but one of them will not be 100% available for the business operation, how you guys should also how percentage of profit should also be discussed in this category. Then another thing that I'm going to discuss has to do with what experience is being matched in this regard. Like what experience do the other one has versus the business that is starting up, and what experience do the other person have versus the business that is starting up. So sometimes individuals don't have equal experience. Those things also matters in business, in startup business. Then I'm also going to discuss a situation whereby there is in another partnership, there is an individual that owns 100% of that is going to be doing 100% of the operation of that business, whereas the other individual will not be there 100%. He's not even going to be there 10%, but he or she will provide certain logistics for the business, and also financial financial means or financial capital for the business to be able to grow. But that individual will not be there to operate the business solely. So we also have to discuss percentage of what is reasonable, or in terms of other businesses that have been in operational, how do they manage profit sharing. I'm also going to discuss why you as an individual that has another business or work for a certain person, but your partner is available to operate this business, how it will affect your profitability, or that's profit sharing in that business. So these are things that I'm going to dive in. There are many more that I'm going to dive into, but like I said, I just want to keep this video within 20 minutes. So I don't want to discuss go really in depth, but one thing that I have to tell you is this. Like I've discussed with folks over the weeks and through the weekend, when you have capital to start business and you don't have experience, do not start it. Look for somebody with experience and team up so that you don't lose your money. That's number one. Number two, if you in any sense think that you can hire people to run your business while you also work for another person, that is very risky. That business, I promise you, I guarantee you, will never grow. that business will fail in 2 years. It does not work. It does not happen, and don't do it. Do not get into a business or open a startup business or operate a business if you have no single experience whatsoever. Do not do it. I repeat, do not do it. Then, starting a business or owning a business is better to have a real estate. I'm going to discuss that, why you should own a business or invest in a business instead of having a real estate. In some situations, when you have a real estate and your real estate is a single house or two houses, it's not a transfer of wealth. You haven't even gotten to the level of owning something that will see through your retirement. 401k and two houses that you might sell in the future to help to be able to have that's money at your disposal to take care of yourself through the age of 90 if you happen to have kids that will not help, or kids that are so spoiled they don't care about you as a parent after spending all these years raising them. Due to inflation, your 401k and a single house is not enough to put you through, and your pension or gratuity, whatever it is, that's your pension and retirement, whatever they will not be enough to see you through. I'm going to discuss that. I'm going to tell you other things you can do as an individual to be able to prepare yourself to outlive 75, to outlive 85, to get well into your 90s. These are things I'm going to discuss about you being financially ready to be able to take good care of yourself in the future. And if you seek a transfer of wealth, 1 house, 2 house, 3 house, 4 house is never enough to have to ignite a transfer of wealth in your family. It's not. I hear people say all the time, oh, I want to buy a house so I can pay it off and then I'll have a generational wealth. It's not a generational wealth. A single house, 2 houses, 3 houses are not generational wealth transfer. You have to build generational wealth through having residual income, and the only way you can have residual income is to own a business. Owning plots of land is far better. Not 1, not 5 plots, but multiple plots of land is also one way that I'm going to discuss with you guys later on how to own a business. There are also other business adventures that I will discuss with you guys that are also transfer of wealth. So I'm coming to the conclusion of this video, and please be ready because this broadcast is now on a different level. Subscribe, send this link to other people to subscribe. I want to hit 50 subscribers by tomorrow. I want to hit 50 subscribers by tomorrow. By end of next week, I want to get to 100 subscribers. We got to go. We got to get this done. We have to make it happen. Let's go, guys, and be prepared for next week, because like I said, for next broadcast will be intense. A lot of discussions will happen, and I hope that we are going to learn what it takes to own a business. And next broadcast, I have a big news to release to you guys. Very, very big news. A massive news to release. I'm looking forward to discussing with you guys. I'm looking forward to releasing what I have to release next broadcast, and I will see you. Good night, guys. Have a good night. Bye.